Admiral Dragone, Chair of NATO's Military Committee, welcome to Kyiv Security Forum and Deutsche Welle.
Thank you very much.
So we are talking in the Ukrainian capital, the fifth year of the Russian invasion, but this war somehow has disappeared from the news because of the war in Iran, but also, this is my impression, because there is not much new happening on the battlefield. Are we at a stalemate in this war?
Okay, let me tell you that one of the reasons why I'm here is that because we want to make clear that NATO is with Ukraine and it will stay in our unwavering commitment up to the end, up to the time in which Ukraine will reach a long-lasting, just peace, stable, and that's our commitment, and it is unwavering. Yes, something else is happening, but and also the battlefield stalemate. I would say yes. I mean, there is no terrain gains. I mean, substantial terrain gain. There are a lot of losses on the Russian side. They're losing a lot of soldier. Ukraine is holding. They are holding the line. So I mean, it's let's say, can you say it, frozen? I mean, it's really I mean, at a point in which there is no gain on a field by anybody. But I think that the good news is that Ukraine is really holding the line, which is paramount.
The question is how, because half a year ago, a few months ago, Russia was gaining ground. A lot of people in Europe also were worried that Russia might achieve a breakthrough or something like that. That didn't happen in winter. What's the secret?
I think that the first thing that we need to consider is the great value and strength and courage of a Ukrainian soldier, but also the Ukrainian citizen. This is really the difference between the two contendants. I mean, there is one side who is strong, motivated, and dedicated to defend their own country, and another one which is invading, basically.
Still, the Ukrainian President Zelensky has said it several times that he is worried that Ukraine might not get enough certain types of weapons. For example, he mentioned the Patriot interceptors that the United States are providing and the Europeans are paying for. How worried are you that shortage of those specific weapons might have an impact on the war?
I can tell you that, I mean, the weapon flow, the system, and whatever it is necessary to Ukraine is flowing. I mean, is running. The Pearl is the principal, but not the only one.
But President Zelensky said it's worse than ever.
Worse than ever. I can tell you that the effort from nations and NATO side, it's the same one. And all the money that every single nation is spending on Pearl for American system is in systems which are already here or which are almost gone.
Do you think Pearl should be somehow reformed? There were speculations about maybe a new format, Pearl Plus. What do you think of it?
Well, I think it is working. I think that it is not, as I told you, it's not just Pearl, but which is working is the total enterprises that are providing system and weapon system to Ukraine, which is a Pearl, which is a bilateral agreement, which is funding from different sources like European Union, for example. So I mean, this is the whole system which is working and giving, I tell you what, the best that they can to Ukraine.
How strong or how weak is the Russian army at the moment? What is your assessment?
Well, they were strong, they are still strong. They count on quantity, of course. Their way of fighting is kind of, conventional way. They are just counting on wave. They don't take into consideration losses. They are fighting their war. They are not achieving their goals, their strategic goals, their strategic objective, and they will not. But again, they are a strong army, but I see that Ukraine, which is smaller in size, it's just holding holding the line in a way that we can say it was unexpected, but demonstrate how strong they are.
Do you think Russia would mobilize in the near future?
Well, mobilization would be against the concept of special operation, because you mobilize for war. For special operation, you are not supposed to mobilize because it is a special operation. So since they are repeating that this is still, after 4 years, a special operation, I'm not expecting mobilization right now.
But do you expect the war to continue as it is this year?
Well, since we are at a frozen point, I think it will last until they decide, which is almost time to sit. But I can see that one of the two is ready to sit and talk, and the other one is not.
Do you think the war will be decided on the battlefield or inside Russia, where economy is showing cracks?
In the battlefield, it's pretty difficult. From what we can see, it's pretty difficult. I think that the economic will be part of the final result. Of course, we need, for example, as soon as the Gulf conflict is over, just to restore and maybe increase all the sanction and all the economic pressure that we were exercising toward Russia.
Drones are playing a huge role in this war. Yeah. We've seen a major development since 2022.
Yep.
But not just in the air, but also on sea. People say, experts say, military say, like you, that Ukraine has revolutionized war at sea. What do you think of it? Yeah. What can NATO learn from Ukraine in maritime battles?
Well, we saw that. I mean, as a matter of fact, with drones, Ukraine compelled the Russian Black Sea Fleet to stay in the harbors in Crimea. So this means something. They sunk a lot of ship, big ship. I can recall Moscow. The learning for us again that unmanned system are now structural of the battle, either at sea and also on land. They are just part of the battle. They are achieving the best result as far as sinking or the hitting, attacking, and so we need to take this into consideration. They will not be the only one, of course, but they will be the ones who will be driving strategic decision, operational decision on the field, because they are the ones that they are achieving 80% of strikes result right now. So it means it is a figure that is only can increase. That's basically what I think.
Ukrainian drone experts will be training German Bundeswehr. Do you think that NATO countries like Italy or France or other countries that have big naval forces could also ask Ukraine to send their experts for sea drones?
I think it's already part of our relationship. I mean, you can recall that from February 2025, the JETEC was a setup in Poland, which is a joint analysis, training, and education center. It is a Ukraine NATO enterprise in which we are exploiting lesson learned 360 degrees. So why not at sea? We have a lot of stuff that we can learn, that we can apply, and that can get into our doctrine and our way of preparing for conflict from the Ukraine. And at sea it will be part of the whole learning objective.
Do you see a changing of the paradigm? Because when the war started, Ukraine sent soldiers to NATO countries to train. Now it could be the other way around.
Yeah.
Is it already happening?
Yeah, it is happening. I mean, it happened in the Gulf, for example. I mean, 200 or something like that Ukrainian instructors went down there and helped the Gulf countries to, counteract against the huge amount of air missile and drone attack from Iran. So that's just, and they organized the way they they defend themselves, their territory. We are learning from them in JTEC, and we are asking them to, for example, to play red team in exercises. I mean, they are the attacker, we are the defender, and they teach us how to properly defend ourselves from drone attack.
Could you maybe give an example how those games are happening?
Well, I will never tell you because it is not convenient for NATO.
So we had several examples when Ukrainian officers or trainees have beaten NATO.
No, I was just joking, but no, they have a great teaching power, and they are really available to share with us, which means something, to share with us all their experience on the field, on the battlefield, and that is golden for us.
Do you think it is sometimes difficult for Western armies, NATO armies, to accept that a country like Ukraine, which is actually a poor country, can do something better than rich NATO countries? Is there a psychological barrier to accept it?
I don't think so, because I mean they are suffering their own. I mean they're gaining their own experience on the battlefield. So they deserve respect, and this is go beyond a country which is rich and which is poor. We just respect them. We just honor their courage, their capability, and that's something that goes beyond everything, mainly in the military way of life.
Let's talk about the post-war Ukraine, because last year there were a lot of talks on political level, diplomatic level, what will happen after the ceasefire. Some NATO member countries said they are ready to send soldiers into Ukraine. Others, like Germany, said, we are not ready for that yet, we can stay outside but help from neighboring NATO countries. How do you see NATO's role when the war is over?
How do I see NATO countries' role? I
Yes.
mean, if we consider that the coalition of willing is just a planning phase of their planning, and of course the condition is that, I mean, with the peace in place, long, just lasting peace between Ukraine and Russia, that could be time for a coalition of the willing to help Ukraine in reconstruction, in return to normal life, also because we want a Ukrainian army strong and being able by themselves to deter any kind of additional, and we could say that would be the third one, additional aggression from Russia. So this is the situation I foresee for the intervention of some NATO countries, which are already talking as far as a coalition of the willing, in helping to return to normal life to Ukraine, in helping them in training, in helping them in reconstruction, having airport working. That's basically, I think, the right way to see the future of Ukraine and the future of, I mean, Western country or countries which belong to the alliance, on a volunteer base, to intervene.
Germany has said that it wants to build the strongest conventional army in Europe. How would you assess the German progress?
Well, they just told it. Of course, we see German how much they commit in defense investment, and this is a strong message. It's a strong message that Germany is stepping up, and also other countries are stepping up. Germany will exercise a pooling factor. I think so. I mean, other will follow, and that's the way that we now decide to increase our commitment, our investment, our responsibility, and our activity, and our also authority within the alliance.
But do you think that not just Germany, but other NATO countries maybe should rethink their military spending? Because Germany is spending a lot on hardware, tanks, fighter jets, things like that. What we see in Ukraine, it's the drones that actually are responsible for 80%, you said it yourself, of the killings on the battlefield. So maybe they should just spend more money on drones and less on tanks.
I cannot get into whatever Germany is deciding, but from my standpoint, the smart thing, also taking example and taking consideration what is going on in this war, and I tell you what, the next war will not be this one. But again, we need to think forward. But again, it will be the smart thing to do will be just to have the good balance between, conventional that need to be improved, modernized, and the new system that we see are having a great deal of importance in the war. I'm speaking about drone, but not only cyber, also cognitive is an important part of the actual and future wars. So just consider that Russia, for cognitive, just cognitive, so fake news, disinformation, and on, just for cognitive warfare, they spend $2 billion per year. Just cognitive.
Speaking about the future wars, German intelligence, German army were warning that Russia could attack NATO in the coming years by 2030. What do you think of this? Is it realistic? Do you see any changes inside Russia preparing for such an attack?
Well, today I can tell you that we are prepared for that. We are prepared, and we are updating our preparedness, our readiness. We have plans which are working. That's demonstrated by the interception of the 4 missiles coming from Iran toward NATO territory. 100% success. So our plans are working. We are updating them. Then by 2030, they will be updated for the Russia 2030 situation.
Admiral Dragone, thank you very much
General,
for your time.
I kill for less.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.